Righty. Looks like the attendee list has leveled off. I want to thank everybody for joining us after the long holiday weekend. Hope everybody got through it safely. Once again, I'm Ken Kibler, Director of Training and Business Support, Client Business Support for eTruckBiz. We've got kind of the same topics today with the volume and the trends, but then a little bit about how to take a look at your business as an investor. So without further ado, I'll turn this over to Jeff Walzak. If you have any questions, as always, please put them in the Q&A or the chat. Thank you very much.
All right, Ken, thank you. And as we have to say or every time, remember that eTruckBiz is not endorsed, sponsored, or anything else by FedEx Corporation. And yeah, it's true if you're looking for an alternative to moving to ground cloud, which may be coming up here pretty soon, we have an alternative for you. You can get no upfront cost VEDR cameras, AI VEDR cameras, along with train the trainer courses for free, at least the initial course from Impact Solutions. There you go. There's your alternative to going to our friends over at GroundCloud. Also, a lot of folks we've been doing a whole bunch of sessions, a whole lot of analyses for folks. And Becca has something that we want to try to offer you.
Thank you. So, is your business leaking money without you even knowing it? Maybe it's drivers taking the long way around, hidden costs that blindside you every month, or drowning in paperwork when you should be strategizing your next move. So, inefficient routes, that's going to be wasted time and fuel, administrative workload, or those surprise costs. This all contributes to lost profitability. So, we want to help you solve that issue. Most service providers don't know exactly where their money is going. So if you book one of these sessions with us, we can show you exactly where the leaks are and how to stop them fast. If you sign up for a free, no obligation session where we'll perform a full business health check for your company, this is what you will get: a standard operating budget, and then the operating expense plan, which will reveal your current financial status and shows you exactly what your long-term growth potential looks like. And then what we'll show you after is the business growth system programs, which helps you make an immediate positive impact on your business so you can stop firefighting and start growing. And we do have the 3 programs within the business growth system. They all are focusing on different but necessary areas of your business. So the first one we have here is the Budget IQ program. This is going to be for financial clarity. It is a comprehensive review of your budget to pinpoint areas where spending can be optimized and leaks plugged. Then we have the Performance IQ program. This is focusing on operational efficiency. So you can use training, engineering, planning, continuous monitoring from our team, and constructive feedback to make operations more efficient. And then Admin IQ is for the time optimization. So free up your time by eliminating the non-revenue producing tasks, allowing you to focus on growth activities. And all of those programs come with our software as a service, which includes all of the apps for the drivers, BDCs, and so forth. And if you are ready to plug the leaks and start growing, please scan the QR code or email me at becca@etruckbiz.com. I would love to have a session with you. Let's create some goals together and make sure you're profitable.
Right. Pretty good offer there, huh, Ken?
Outstanding offer. Just understanding your budget and where your dollars are going will give you some clarity in your operation.
Sometimes it's hard to keep all the plates up in the air. So that's why you'd want to do that. So let's look at the volume for last week. Oh boy. Now the stops dropped off a little bit. However, the packages picked up a little bit too. So really, in the end, it's pretty much flat. Interesting that packages are up on the vans. Delivery volume, it doesn't get any flatter than that. That's the way it's been here for the last several weeks. However, we'd like to point out that packages and stops on the delivery side are definitely ahead of where they were last year. Not everybody in the transportation industry can say anything like this. If you look at routes dispatched, went up a little bit. And yeah, productivity took a dive.
Drop down below that 100 mark. Let's get back. This week is going to be a challenge. From what it looks like today, the volume was pretty strong today because Tuesday becomes your Monday with the holiday, but with stronger volume today and stop should be good, and normally productivity is good on Saturday and Sunday. So we do have a chance to blow the productivity out of the water this week if we do it right.
Okay. So, as we were talking about before, as a FedEx service provider, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind of managing routes, handling drivers, and putting out fires. The most successful contractors finally make the crucial shift. They stop thinking like operators and start thinking like investors. Now, this doesn't mean you don't need to pay attention to your operation. Yes, you do. But it's possible to, over some time, shift from working in your business to working on it. So we're going to talk about how to transform your contracting business from a job into a valuable asset that generates wealth for years to come. Many FedEx service providers start with big dreams or get trapped in the daily operations. We'll explore how to break free of that cycle. The key is to shift your mindset from being an operator to becoming an investor in your own business. This unlocks new opportunities for growth and profitability. By the end of this presentation, we'll have a roadmap for turning your contracting business into a valuable wealth generating asset. So, most contractors get caught up in the day-to-day operations. We tend to manage every detail personally, becoming the bottleneck for all decisions and actions. So you're going to have to learn how to delegate. You can't have every single thing going through you because you'll create a bottleneck, right? The root cause of this phenomena is lack of effective training from FedEx for both AOs and especially BC. So if you were to buy a franchise, let's say a McDonald's franchise, guess what they'll do? They'll put you.
Hamburger you.
That's right. They'll send you the hamburger you. You will learn the business for sure. You're going to say something there, Ken?
Nope.
So because we make up our own ways of doing it, BCs end up managing by firefighting instead of understanding any form of systems or processes that are needed to run an orderly operation. This means AOs end up working in the business instead of on strategic growth and systems. The result is that we've created a job for ourselves rather than a true business. This operator trap is a common challenge for many contractors and service providers. To break out of this cycle, we need to focus on building systems and processes so we don't have to work in the business. So what is the investor mindset? The investor mindset is about building long-term value in your FedEx contracting business, not just focusing on short-term fixes. Successful contractors approach their businesses like investors. The goal is to build an asset that grows in value over time, not just the job. Key elements of the investor mindset include developing scalable operations that can grow without requiring more of your personal time. Investing in building a strong team that can operate independently, making strategic decisions based on your long-term vision, not just immediate needs. Ultimately, the investor mindset is about transitioning from owning a job to owning a valuable business asset. But there's a note here. The investor mindset does not mean that you buy this business and then just collect checks. That was a mindset for the last several years. It doesn't work that way. You can get less involved, but that only comes after you have built systems and processes, as we said already, to support the business running without your constant intervention. When you're not doing everything yourself, your profit margin can improve by as much as 32%. So your margins can improve if you're not doing everything. That's one of the hardest things to get past. You think you got to do this, you got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. Why not? Well, nobody else can do it. Actually, what we've seen is people start delegating more and getting more other people involved, their margins go up because everybody starts to know what they're supposed to do. And when everybody knows what they're supposed to do, all you have to do is make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. And you can get a lot more done through your team than you can yourself. Businesses with strong systems and processes sell for much higher valuation multiples. And depending on where you start, it could be up to 3 times higher than usual. So breaking free from the time for money trap allows you to scale your business beyond your teams in place. Your business can run without your constant involvement, giving you the freedom to explore new opportunities. Okay. So how do we reframe your business as a valuable asset rather than just an income generating operation? The key question is, if you sell your business tomorrow, what would make it more valuable? We used to talk about lifestyle businesses versus transportation companies. You remember that, Ken?
Yep. For years, it was kind of what we preached.
For years and years and years. It's what we preached. The difference is a lifestyle business is heavily dependent on an owner with no documented processes and reliance on the owner's involvement. In contrast, a transportation company has clear systems and a trained team, documented processes, and institutional client relationships with your friends at FedEx. All right. The goal is to transform your business from an operator's job into a valuable transferable asset. And yes, I've been a little distracted this whole time because I was wondering if our guest speaker was going to show up, and it looks like maybe he's here now. So, Mr. Taylor, are you able to speak?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Fantastic. This is what everybody wanted to hear. They don't want to hear me talk about stuff. They want to hear you telling us how to become really a transportation company versus a lifestyle business. And I think Becca's got some questions she's going to ask you to start with here.
Perfect.
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So Tracy Taylor, he started as a preloader and built a large P&D business. So Tracy, what was the turning point for you where you stopped thinking about your business as just a job and started seeing it as an investment?
When I started with 3 trucks, and I figured out that I couldn't do this on my own. And if I wanted to reach the goals that I had set out for myself, which is to make a good, healthy income and be able to do the things I want to do when I wanted to do them, it was probably within the first, I don't know, 6 months that I figured out that I needed to go ask help because I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I was also 23 and the smartest I've ever been in my life. So kind of had to work those two things out together. And that's how I come across Jeff with eTruck Biz.
And then, so within that time, you realized that the traditional way of doing business, like spreadsheets and manual processes, was holding you back from real growth. What role did the business growth system play in helping you make that transition?
Like when I first started, I had no idea what was going on. And the settlements were about 3 times more complex than they are today. So that's really what I was looking for when I set out in this adventure, was for someone to teach me. I think I phrased it to Jeff as in an agricultural sense, because since I'm from Kansas, I've got a pretty strong agricultural background. And basically, I was the farmer producing a bunch of all this raw data. And I don't know how to do much more than produce the raw data. I need somebody to take it to market so that it's a quantifiable product that could be sold on the open market. And that's kind of what I felt eTruck Biz was like the elevator. And they could take the data that I'm producing, operating this P&D business, and give me valuable feedback as to what inputs I needed, where I needed. Really no different than farming. I need to know how much fertilizer to put on, how much all these things to do, but we just use package terms instead. And that's what's really helped me get away from doing things on a napkin and actually have systems and processes in place.
So you recently sold a multi-million-dollar line haul operation. Can you share what a potential buyer looks for in a business and how the business growth system helped you prepare for that sale?
mean, ultimately, what people are truly looking for, I think, at least from my opinion, is we hear the term turnkey out there all the time, right? Like I just hand you the keys, it's yours, and you take off. Most of the businesses for sale aren't set up like that. Like they don't have the systems and processes in place where the person selling the business can be deleted from the business, not exist, and nothing actually changed. That's a pretty rare thing to find. It can definitely be done. I got it done selling our line haul operation, and it's been very rewarding. Those guys have been doing a good job. They haven't had any massive issues since taking over. They've changed out people, but changing out people should be expected now. Is pretty upfront that's what happens when you take over. You should expect to change the people because you got to build the right culture, and everyone's culture is different.
Absolutely. So you made the shift from operator to investor. What's the biggest piece of advice you can give to other service providers who want to build a valuable long-term asset?
Make sure that you have systems and processes in place. And I'm talking from the way that you put your clothes on, the way you do business, how you conduct things, document things. All of those things help drive that.
And then after building and selling your multi-million-dollar business, what does life look like for you now? And what has this journey allowed you to do?
Since we got rid of the line haul stuff, we're back rebuilding and expanding more with the network 2.0 integration and the challenges that come with that. What's really exciting for me is now we don't operate 365, 24 hours a day, which at first I was kind of surprised at how freeing that would be, to actually just get stuff done in a regular 12-hour day. But I'm really excited to be back, especially with this 2.0 stuff. The new transition, it's going to require a fundamental shift in the way that we operate. And I think it's great for both drivers. It's great for contractors, which ultimately will be great for FedEx. And the things that we used to do and the way that we were doing them, they need to go away, and bad habits need to die. And these new habits with just the programs that eTruck Biz is offering here through ASM and through just all the different components that eTruck has been able to help us with have really helped us drive results. And hopefully we'll replace that lost revenue that we sold off with new revenue through 2.0, and we can see the same margins realized in 12 hours instead of 24.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. I don't have any more questions. Jeff, I don't know if you want to open up the question or chat box to see if anyone else has any questions for Tracy. You're muted.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions for Mr. Taylor, or maybe you have some questions about how do you go from where you're at right now, think about it, where you're at right now to where Tracy Taylor is. First of all, you would have to get a pilot's license, because now he flies around all over the place. But I don't think you were doing that when you were loading trucks back in the day. Is that true, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, definitely wasn't flying any planes back in the unloading days. It's an achievement just to get to work on time back then.
So,
But how to get there from like where I started to where I am now? How do you do it? Be confident that you can do it. That's the very first thing. Tell yourself every day that you're going to make it and you're going to do it, because that's the first. If you don't believe in yourself, kind of a waste of time, right?
absolutely. So a lot of people want to know that they're stuck in their day to day. I do this every day. This guy didn't come to work. This happened, that happened. Next thing you know, you're hauling a fire hose around, putting out fires. How did you break free of that?
Not to sound like a salesman, but I had people that kept telling me to stop being so in touch with every single thing. And that's one of the things I've worked with some of my friends and their businesses and stuff. It's the same thing. If you want to have a large organization, you're not the guy holding the shovel digging the ditch anymore. Doesn't mean that you can't be involved by any means. You just need to change the way that you got to transcend from being just a regular hardworking person, because everybody can work hard, right? The task at hand expands to meet the time allotted. All of those things kind of go into it, but you have to start understanding that your goal needs to be achieving success through others, which is ultimately one of the hardest things ever. I think a lot of people get tripped up where this is a complex business, but at the end of the day, it's not. I think a lot of people like to make things complex because as a society, we view complexity as this great big challenge. But at the end of the day, this is truly one of the best easy jobs because you can make it as complex as you want it to be. But at the end of the day, we're just moving boxes from A to B. And if you keep it super simple, you keep people focused on what is the goal, what the values are. And most importantly, it's just making sure that if you say you're going to do something, do it. Hold people accountable the same way you hold yourself accountable.
I think that's a
So,
key phrase there, accountability. And just because you're not working, digging that hole, you're still holding somebody accountable to dig that hole, correct?
100%. And not only just to dig the hole, but the right dimensions, the right shape, the right depth, all the components that go into doing that. You have to keep people accountable. And that's probably one of the big things that people are feeling, especially through this 2.0 transition, transformation, whatever T word you want to throw on it. It's a complete shift. And the only way to get people to do that is to hold them accountable. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable and setting realistically achievable goals for the people who are working for you, because they're not going to care as much about the business per se as you do, but they can care to the same level of the mission of the business.
Hey,
so
Tracy,
oh, go ahead.
looking at, just keeping an eye on all your data and stuff and the hours that your drivers are on the road. They're all on the road 8.5 every day. Was that always the case? How did you get to that?
Absolutely not. We used to be just like everybody else. We paid by the day. We just, here's your truck, roll of freight, don't come back until you're done. And that works back in the ground days when that's all you had to do is just get the work done. But you start adding in time sensitive deliveries, same day on call pickups, things that are challenging and that require a little bit more finesse than just brute force. We started 3 years ago, actually 5 years ago, paying people by the hour. And at first, you would have thought I was a guy with leprosy. How can you do that? There's no way. Yeah, there is. Like these guys, they all go home at the same time every day, no matter what amount of work you give them. Even if you pay them by the hour, guess what? No one wants to stay at work any longer than they have to, even if you give them unlimited hours. Yeah, there are people that will attempt to soak up as much as they can. They'll slow down, all these things. 100% can happen. You have to manage that. You can't just set the plan today and expect that plan is going to work for every day for forever. And we've cut our teeth I've been beating my managers, been beating our staff in a good, positive manner, because just the things that are important to me is doing a good job and fulfilling the obligations of our contract. But not only that, it's giving people opportunities. Like our wages have come up in the last 4 months by probably about 25%. And it's because they're supported. We're paying our people 25% more, but through eTruck, the ASM program, our labor cost is still 10% under goal in one of our operations that's moved over to 2.0. How is that? Because we're getting 1,300 stops done with 3 people or with 9 people. We still need to recruit, and it's great and it's exciting, but that's also not long-term and sustainable. We know that. I know that. The people doing the work, because they're definitely on the road a lot more than 8 hours right now, but they're doing the work of 12 people with 9. So we're constantly recruiting. We're bringing in people. We should have finally fully staffed by the end of next week.
Hey, and also, Tracy, sorry, Jeff, I just got lots of questions.
That's good.
You're in 2 buildings too, and one's
Yes.
a standalone.
One is
So how do
transitioned
you
to
do-
2.0. The other has
How do you
not.
do both?
How do I
Gotcha.
do both?
Well, how do you do both? How can you be in 2 places at one time when you're 3 hours away besides flying your plane?
It goes back to
Back
the
and
systems
forth.
and processes, right? Like I'm not there to go deliver stuff. I hire a manager at each location, and it's his job to figure out how to get things delivered, but through my leadership and my guidance and the systems, the processes that we've established in each of those buildings. I give the managers a little autonomy, because that's how you exchange a little bit of autonomy. A great example is today. We're short a truck because one of them went down on Friday. We didn't communicate, so now we got some equipment that shouldn't be out. on certain routes. But at the end of the day, we made a decision and we got stuff done. So did it go exactly the way I wanted it to? Absolutely not. The things I've learned from today's assessment is I need to work a little bit more with my manager and one, get him out of the truck because he's acting like a driver, but also two, I obviously haven't shared enough of my expectations to him that he should be making decisions as if they were me, is kind of the way I look at it. So that's how I can be in two places at once and achieve things.
So I want to ask you this, Mr. Taylor. A lot of folks out there say they can't make any money doing this anymore, and it's a horrible business to be in. What would you say to that?
I have a few questions about that. I mean, when you say you don't make any money, meaning you're saying I'm making $0, I'm losing dollars. How can you sustain that if you're not making any money? Because if you're not making absolutely, I mean, been here, especially been here for like 20 years, 15 years, never made any sense how that makes, I'm a logical kind of guy. I don't know how you make an argument based on that. But the second question is like, do you even know where your money's going? Like, do you actually track and know where every penny of that settlement goes? And if you're not, that's the first place to go get started. Go start breaking it down. Get somebody from eTruck in here to help you if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know where to start. That's where I would go. I mean, at the end of the day, the pot of money is there. If you're not making money doing this, you're just not doing something right, or you don't see where you have a leak. And, having stuff like the ASM or an eTruck Biz will help you find those leaks, stop them so that you can make money, because you should be making money. Are you going to get filthy rich? Probably not, but you can at least afford an aircraft.
Just gonna say, I don't know about that, Mr. Taylor. If the folks knew how much you sold your line haul operation for, I don't know. Some people would claim that that's filthy something. I don't know.
It was a significant amount of money for sure, but I've taken it and done I took all the money and I reinvested into this P&D thing for 2.0.
And are you making money on
where
2.0?
I'm making, it's challenging, but I pre-seeded the soil and built a culture in this building that went 2.0. I don't have anybody bitching. Sometimes we're working 14 hours a day. It sucks. We all know it. It's 159 billion degrees here, and it's terrible. Like I told them, we're going to make this work. And if it works, everyone will be rewarded. And I've been making sure that when I say we're going to do something, that we make sure that we do it. And that's the culture that we built. Like, my biggest complaint in this whole thing is just contractors who have shitty attitudes and have no expectations, and they don't hold anybody accountable and want to complain that it's FedEx's fault.
Well, recently we've been seeing some, we'll call it settlement relief, maybe. I don't know what you want to call it, but there are ways, as Carrie's been telling us for the last few weeks, there are ways to get a renegotiation and do very well at it, actually, to be quite honest with you.
I mean, not to interrupt you, all I'm trying to say is they're listening and they will do stuff, but they're not just going to say, I'm not making any money. You can't make an argument based on that. Why are you not making money? Where are you not making money? Where are you losing money? We're still running. I got a call from the other day where our station in 2.0 in the last round that went in July, we're number one. And that's largely driven by my operation because I have, I think, 95% of the stops within 30 minutes of the building. So I've got all the TDs, the same day on calls, a whole bunch of this stuff, and we're killing it. Why are we killing it? Because we were prepared. We had a plan. We have organization. And just because we had a plan, we also understand that a plan is great until you get punched in the face, like Mike Tyson said, but you still got to keep fighting. So we just adjust the plan. And sometimes we haven't performed great. Service is just a thing that happens. It's a byproduct of doing the actual work.
Ken, does anybody else have any questions out there?
Right now, there are no questions. I'd just like to reiterate, like I said, Tracy came from owning 3 vans up to having 3 operations, including that line haul operation, which a lot of times if you have that line haul operation, Tracy, tell me if I'm wrong, that high water can hide the stumps of your P&D operation and might not have you look as closely as you needed to. And then once you got rid of that, hopefully that said, oh, time to refocus and get ready for this network 2.0. And as you said, I think you've successfully done that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the whole point of even taking on line haul was to get an established level, not volatile cash flow. You know, that's the perk of line haul. The not perk of line haul is that you have to do it in the middle of the night.
24 to 7
It's
days a
24.
week.
Yeah, there's no
360.
holidays, there's no nothing. And you're right, it does hide some of the things, but because we're constantly looking at our operations and trying to improve them. Like I knew when I decided that I was prepared to sell the line haul stuff off, that we had already identified the key areas that now without line haul being here, there is no more safety net. You know, we're taking off the training wheels and we got to make this shit work on our own.
Yep. So, yeah, if you want to talk to Tracy, please let us know. Said he's built a successful company. He only said the word once, but it was accountability. He came to us for accountability. He was, I think, one of our first coaching clients where a man named Mick grilled him and his BCs on a regular basis. Am I right there, Tracy?
Yeah, 100%. I needed a guy like Mick to beat up my BCs and managers, not because I couldn't do it, because it's a whole lot easier to provide a distraction. So when I'm trying to have hard, critical, constructive, you know, make this guy grow conversations, he's too busy being mad at this guy and he'll actually listen. So it's definitely one of the things that was a huge blessing in getting us off the ground. Like at one point in time, we had over 100 over 100 P&D drivers and around 30 to 40 line haul drivers. And now we're just down to 2 operations and about 85 people total.
So, excellent. Still no questions?
I tell you guys, the folks that are here listening, here's your chance to ask somebody that we've been trying to tell you what the opportunity that's in front of you. If you want it, you can take it. Here's a guy that did it. You got any questions for him? It's time to ask. All right, never mind.
If you think of any, and bring them next Tuesday to Orlando, not here. So we will not be back here next Tuesday. We'll be in sunny Florida, Central Florida.
You got something there, Ken.
So do you have anything on that, Jeff? But
there's a question or something, Ken.
Oh, there it is. Hello. It says, how did you address guys moving more slowly via hourly wage versus a daily wage? There you go, Mr. Taylor.
This is probably an answer that's going to surprise a lot of people because that's the first thing I hear. Well, how do you keep guys from slowing down? Even before, we were holding guys accountable to a stops per hour rate, right? And when we went hourly, that was part of like, I didn't wake up on a Friday and say, Monday morning, we're going hourly at this place. We sat down, we took about 3 months. So we took a whole quarter of data. We made sure that everybody clocked in, clocked out, and I repeated to them, if you screw this up and you give me bad data, you're not going to like the results because I'm making a results-based decision based on the actual data that you give me. So if you can't figure out how to clock in and clock out, I'm just going to make some stuff up because I don't know what to tell you because you're not doing what the other 90% of the people are doing. And we still hold those people accountable to that productivity level. And of course, there is a ceiling for productivity. I 100% agree with that, but there shouldn't be any bulkhead doors open. There's no reason that you can't be professional and polite. There's no reason that your truck's dirty. There's no reason that things are disorganized. There's no reason that it should take you longer to do a stop because you can't find the packages in the back. And I understand the packages are loaded. Sure, I get all of that stuff. But at the same time, in the global look of things, all of those things are just a bunch of excuses to get in the way of just getting the work done. And that's the line that we toe with our people. And they have responded very positively to it.
Would you say you had to decide that you're not going to run a lifestyle business anymore and then you were going to decide to run a transportation company?
100%. Yeah, this business is its own separate beast and animal. You know, the things I do on my own time. Yeah, there's some shared benefits. Like, does the company pay for part of the plane? Sure does. Is it the only thing it does? No. I have lots of, what I do in my personal time needs to, it's kind of like the goose and the golden, or the goose and the golden egg, right? Desert Fox Logistics is my goose. And I have to make sure that it keeps giving me golden eggs, and I don't want to kill the goose, but I need lots of golden eggs. So I just want to make sure it's a productive goose.
Yeah, people can milk the clock when you're paid per day too. They set what they want to do. If it's 120 stops and be home by 3, they're not. And if you ask them to do 140, they're going to say they want more money to do it. So they milk the clock, or they could just stay out till 4 and do that 120 stops. And people have and do milk the clock on a day rate pay too. So what's the hourly rate you start drivers, and what is the top pay per hour?
Our hourly starting rate currently right now, we're under a review, but we start guys out at $17 an hour. I mean, it's a little loaded question because every state has different hourly requirements. Am I saying that my way is the only way? No, it's not. Our top out rate, our goal is to get our top out pay to $30 an hour. That's what I'm actively working for. And we're going to get there. I got some guys at 26, 27, $28 an hour now. So I think with the new 2.0, with the performance that we're getting out of guys, we should easily be able to hit that $30 an hour plus. Ultimately, I think in the long term, I'm talking maybe 3 to 5 years from now, hopefully we're talking about $35 an hour for guys, because we're going to need to pay people to do the job. And I laugh, right? So people are like, oh, you can't pay $30 an hour. That's not true. I mean, some guys are paying their BCs, right? So let's say we're paying a BC, I don't know, $13.50 a week. That's based on a 40-hour work week. That's $35.50 or $32.50, something like that. I'm not a very good mental math guy, but I mean, we're already paying people that. And then you send these guys out. Okay, he did 100 stops, but only worked for 4 hours. And you paid him for 8 hours worth of work. So really, you're already paying over $40 an hour. It's there, but you have to get down and sharpen your pencil, and the details matter in 2.0. And that's where the money's at, is in the details.
And if you're looking to convert, we can help you with that. One of the first steps is look how much you're paying the person each week and how many hours they worked. And you can see what their established hourly rate is.
And I didn't elaborate. Sorry to interrupt you, Ken. I didn't elaborate on that. That'll probably answer a bunch of questions. And that 90-day investigational period, we kept track of everybody's hours and what they got paid. That's what we set their hourly rate as, or they gave us. That's how we got pretty close to the range. There was a couple of them, because we did find that we're paying guys like $40 an hour. And I'm sitting here going, I mean, I talked to my manager, so it's like, oh, we can't pay anybody $40 an hour to do this. So, but we are. Well, I can't get this. I mean, we pay him $40 an hour. He won't do anything. I said, I'm pretty sure you pay anybody $40 an hour, they'll, drive themselves into the sun if you treat them right.
Excellent. Any turnover after you went from salary to hourly?
Yeah, I think there was definitely some turnover, not a ton of turnover, but anytime you make any type of structural or fundamental changes to your workforce, you have to expect turnover. I mean, just in this business alone, we turn people over all the time just for myriad reasons, not just because I changed something.
Do you have an incentive bonus program or an hourly drivers, or a bonus program for the hourly drivers? And if so, is it qualitative or quantitative?
So a bonus, like the only bonus program that we have per se, is that 50 cents an hour of their pay goes to safety service. Basically, it's 50 cents an hour that we get to play with. If they have an accident, they have a problem, I can take up to 50 cents an hour from them because it's not part of their base pay. But for the most part, I'm not a bonus program kind of guy, because if a bonus becomes expected and it becomes regular, how is it any different than just paying them? Like, it's just a bunch of extra work for the same thing. You could just give them give them an extra $1 an hour for the year, and you don't have to play games.
Excellent. Lots of good questions there because it is
I
challenging.
got
Go ahead, Bob.
I got another one, Tracy. You talked about holding drivers accountable for their stops per on road hour. And what I see, a lot of drivers will get the stuff done, but it's not put on them. So you hold your BCs accountable for making sure that the easy number is hit.
100%. I mean, with the new reports that we're getting from eTruck Biz, 100%. We talk about it. I have a daily review with pretty much every location manager, and we kind of go over the reports from eTruck Biz, saying, okay, what did we see? And as we get more comfortable and things settle down, the time will kind of expand a little bit from where I'm not having to check in all the time. Because remember, my whole goal is to make this operation exist without me. Because I've gone through a couple periods where I couldn't be here to run the show, and it's operated. So, I mean, that's part of the thing that you have to kind of go in with the mentality is, if you're making it all about yourself, or you're making it so that you're the most important thing and nothing can survive without you, that's a lifestyle business. Like you're the business. You can't go sell yourself to somebody else because they banned slavery a long time ago. So now you have to make this business stand on its own without you being there. And that's what people are looking to buy from.
Excellent point. So, excellent questions. As I said, we will be in Orlando next week. I'm sure Tracy should be attending that as well too. I'm sure he'll stop by our booth if you want to talk to him there. I'm sure he'd be gladly available. It might cost you a beer or so, but he'll gladly answer your questions there, as will we. If you got any questions about moving to hourly pay, please come see me. As I said, there's an exercise, and Tracy did that as a 90-day work back, and I think that was extremely beneficial for him, for his team, and for the employees, because basically you're saying, I'm not changing what I pay you, I'm just changing how I pay you. Would you agree with that, Tracy?
Yeah, 100%. And we reinforced them, and we showed them the data and said, look, this is what we were paying you. You're still going to make this as long as you're continuing to do what you've been doing. If you're not performing, then this all doesn't matter. The other thing I wanted to mention too, by paying hourly, it's a whole lot easier to get people to come to work for you. Because guess what? When shit does hit the fan and you are 3 people short and you're trying to live 1,300 stops with everybody, you can just make them go do the work, and you don't have to argue or come up with some random arbitrary number that sounds like it's worth my time. And you can just pay them a couple extra hours and life goes on, but your expense will track with the performance of the work.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for your time today, Tracy. It's greatly appreciated. I think it's more meaningful coming from you, a successful transportation business owner and investor, rather than the eTruck Biz crew here. Once again, we'll see everybody next Tuesday live and in person in Orlando. If we don't talk to you before then, please have a safe and profitable week. Thank you very much.
Thanks.